Hello folks, welcome back to Canada's Boxing Channel. So there's two bits of heavyweight boxing news that have been reported in the last couple of days, both reported by the Ring magazine, and I believe they've been picked up by a number of the YouTube channels that cover boxing, so they're fairly well reported. The first bit of news, which actually we spoke about here just over 3 weeks ago. So nice to see that we were correct in sort of predicting what was going to happen. Nice to be right, you know, especially when it's kind of speculative. And that's that the WBA have ordered their regular champion, Kubrat Pulev, who has a record of 32-3 with 14 KOs, to defend this regular belt against our British champion, Fabio Wardley, who is presently 18-0 with 1 draw and 17 KOs. So that would mean that Fabio would, I suppose, surrender his British championship in order to pursue this WBA regular title. Alexander Usyk is of course the real champion, but he's been given time to pursue other fights, probably a unification fight with Daniel Dubois, a fight that, as you know, if you watch this channel, I'm not happy about. I think Parker should be given a shot at Dubois, but you know, my opinion is just that of a single fan. And it probably will be the case that Usyk and Dubois will fight, and that hopefully Usyk will beat Dubois for the second time. Unless you're a Dubois fan, in which case you'll be cheering for Dubois. So, all good. Fabio Wardley is the WBA #1 contender, and apparently he's rated as the Ring magazine's #9. We spoke about this, I think it was last week, when we spoke about how Tyson Fury was the Ring magazine #1, ahead of Daniel Dubois, which was in itself very surprising. I mean, we've got Usyk up there, of course, and then we would have thought that we would have expected to see Dubois being the IBF heavyweight champion, being Ring magazine's, you know, top fellow. But Tyson Fury is still there. Anyways, the mandatory defense period starts March the 5th, just gone, and ends April the 5th. And the Ring magazine says if the fight is made, the winner must fight #3 contender, Michael Hunter. Now, Michael Hunter, of course, is the fellow who gave Martin Bakole a very difficult time. And that's got to be held within 120 days with a deadline of October the 25th, 2025. Now, Kubrat Pulev, as we talked about 3 weeks ago, and you know, feel free, of course, to go back to that video, and you know, you'll sort of hear my thoughts on this. 1 second, please. Kubrat Pulev is long in the tooth. He's a Bulgarian fighter. He's beaten by Vladimir Klitschko back in 2014 and Anthony Joshua back in 2020. He's been around a very long time, 43 years old. Now I would put Fabio Wardley as a very strong favourite to beat Kubrat Pulev, especially if the fight's at Portman Road, where his Ipswich Town Football Club are located. The crowd would be very supportive, and Fabio would obviously be an absolutely, you know, up for it. I'm a big fan of Fabio. I like Fabio Wardley. He's one of my favourite fighters. Even though he's got no amateur experience, I think his story is great. I really like listening to him talk. He conducts himself very well, and he comes to fight. You know, if we were to sort of say, I don't know, 10 years ago, Kubrat Pulev probably would have given Fabio a very, very tough night in the office. But I would say now that Fabio would be by far favoured to get the better of Kubrat Pulev. And then I would imagine that would be the end of Pulev's career, but one never knows. is 40 the new 30? I tend to think it isn't in terms of heavyweight boxing, but, fighters are definitely continuing to carry on well past what used to be thought of as their best before or sell-by dates. Oh, in other news, Martin Bakole is to face off against Efe Ajagba, and that's now been set for May the 3rd on the Canelo Schull undercard in Riyadh. Now, this is not going to be a final eliminator because, of course, Bakole stepped up at the last moment to fight Joseph Parker when Daniel Dubois withdrew from the fights at very short notice. Bakole has forfeited the final eliminator fight, but this sort of all-African derby, if you like, is going to proceed in Riyadh, so I'm sure that both fighters are going to be well compensated. Bakole, of course, is from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which used to be called Zaire. You'll remember Zaire being the home of the 1974 fight between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. Well, actually, it was George Foreman v. Muhammad Ali, as Ali was the challenger, in the famous Rumble in the Jungle. Wow, long time ago, 1974, eh? Oof, showing my age here. Anyways, Bakole is 21-2, and he's 33 years old. I think there's a bit of a question mark about 33. He's one of the oldest looking 33-year-olds I've ever seen. But regardless, I mean, that's his official age. Ajagba is from Nigeria. He's got a 20-1 record, and he's 30 years old. So it should be a good fight. I would strongly favour Bakole. I think that, the Bakole that appeared in front of Joseph Parker, we shouldn't really think that as Bakole. I mean, that was a massively, almost criminally out of shape Martin Bakole. How ever did a professional athlete let himself go like that? It shakes my head a little bit. But one would assume that Martin Bakole will have a proper camp, and he'll be possibly a svelte 285 or svelte 290, looking like a sleek panther, possibly. But anyways, he'll be well conditioned and well trained, and I would expect that he would have the better of Ajagba. Although Ajagba shouldn't be overlooked, a very capable, competent fighter, and I would imagine that there'll be a real good fight, a real good, like I say, African derby. Hopefully they can get fans from both countries to travel there and to have a good sort of contingent of fans to sort of add to the atmosphere. The atmosphere in Riyadh shows is often thought to be somewhat lacking. But that could be a good fight. Like I say, I would favour Bakole. Let's hope that that fight does proceed and no hiccups. I'm really sort of getting somewhat saddened by last-minute pullouts and withdrawals and whatnot. So fingers crossed. Anyways, those are the two bits of news that I wanted to talk about in the heavyweight division. There's tons of news breaking all the time, and of course, one has to be selective about what one comments upon. But heavyweight news will often attract my attention, and so here we go. Please like if you like. Please share, and if you are visiting and you haven't yet subscribed, please do subscribe. It's lovely to see those subscription numbers go up. Most importantly, have a fabulous day. We'll see you on the next video. Cheers. Bye-bye.